Good morning, party people. Welcome to the breakdown with Nath and Johnny for the final time this year.
Yeah, just this year.
Yeah,
We're
just
not
for the
going
final time. Leave it pause. Everyone's like, anyway.
clickbait. Hey, welcome to the 2024 wrap-up breakdown edition. We shared this on our stories a couple of weeks ago, which you can see up there now for everyone to kind of share your taste. But we're going to go through and show our top albums, top songs, top EPs, and then a bunch of other little categories that we've gone through. Big shout out to Jared for creating this. The legend has done it the last couple of years, and we really appreciate him doing that for the community.
Yeah,
our party
absolutely.
people are the best. We love you. Before we get into things, two things we're going to talk about. One, we're doing a giveaway. We're going to give away a merch pack. So if you want to win some breakdown merch, we got a whole bunch of new stuff. Drop your top album, top song, top EP. You can just do three things down in the comments. I love seeing what you guys have been listening to this year.
Yeah, same. It's been really good to see those lists and really varied as well. There's been like a lot of representation for Australian bands from some of our overseas followers. There's been some really cool eclectic left of field stuff, which I think is a really freaking awesome thing to see because often the heavy music scene can appear like they're a little bit narrow-minded and they just stay in their lane, but it's really cool to see you guys checking out multiple different styles. You know, you've got your top album might be pop punk, and then it might be hardcore, and then it might be something random. So that's really really cool.
Which is one of the things we're trying to foster on this channel. We try to cover everything because we both have such eclectic taste, and so it's rad to see that reflected in what you guys have been listening to. Now the second
Speaking
thing.
of reflections, I can see mine in something that
Go
we've
on,
got here.
show it off, get it up,
Here,
ladies.
that's what she said. Boom! It has finally arrived. Our 100,000 subscribers YouTube play button plaque.
That's thanks to you guys.
It's all thanks to you guys. We couldn't have done it without you. Look, if, you know, spoiler alert, that's probably my biggest surprise of the year. It was one of those things where the channel has kept getting bigger. The engagement is great. The feedback is great. But the fact that so many of you keep subscribing to us when we're not like other reaction channels, we do tend to sort of take a different approach to it, and we like to
make
push
it
the
idiotic.
yeah, and we like to push the music media side of things as well. But yeah, massive thank you to you guys, to all the people who have watched and shared and liked and bought merch, come up and said hi at shows, to all the bands that have given us their time, the record labels that have helped us
Yeah.
with being able to get reactions over the line easy, give us early access to stuff. Yeah, and it's been the end of the third year, and it's just been a great time. You know, this is a cool thing. We've said it a million times that we get to check out music with our best mates, and now it's turned into something that we didn't expect, but we really honestly genuinely do appreciate it. So thank you so much for giving us so many hours.
And the more love and support you guys have shown us, the more we've been able to kind of put a bit more into it. So we've got big plans for 2025. So hey, if you're watching this for the first time, thanks for being here. Show some love. We can continue bringing some fun stuff next year. But for now, let's focus on 2024. Do you want to go one for one, or do you want to do like I'll do mine, you do yours, as in like in full?
I don't know. We probably should have talked about that first instead of deliberating on the channel in front of all these beautiful people. No,
Yeah,
let's
you do that
go.
now.
Let's go. Let's go one for one then. Let's go one for one.
As in like song, I mean album.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Let's do that.
After you. Let's finish with your number one.
Yes, this is in no particular order until I get to my number
Same.
one.
I could not order them except for number one.
Dude, I also have, like, I've mentioned about 10 bands in honourable mentions as well, because this year has just been so fucking good for music. There has been so much incredible music over so many different genres from the 1st of Jan till right now, and new tunes are still dropping.
Yeah.
And it's just wild. But anyway, the first one in my list of top 10 albums is Void of Vision, What I'll Leave Behind. My top track is the very Nine Inch Nails, very industrial, neurotic. I think that these guys absolutely smashed it on this one, hit it out of the park. Such a well-rounded album. It showcases everything that they do well and some new flavours. A little bit bittersweet.
And it is what they'll leave behind.
Yeah. The foresight there was fantastic. But yeah, I think it was if you're gonna leave, that's the perfect album to do it on.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll go one from that's one I don't have, which is cool. I've got another Aussie band in mind though, Make Them Suffer, with their self-titled album. I think this is the best thing they've done as a unit. It's cohesive. We've talked about it since Alex joined the band, but this group has just gone from strength to strength. They've really found themselves, and they are starting to get the recognition I think they've deserved for a long time.
Absolutely.
And the album is fucking 10 out of 10. It's so good. I didn't put my favorite tracks and everything because I don't want this video to be 3 hours long. So going forwards, let's maybe just talk about the album because I think we will otherwise
if you've
be
got a
here
track, drop it. Did you not?
I don't
do
want to
favorite
edit a
track?
50-minute video.
Yeah, well, I do.
Okay.
I want you to.
Yeah,
I want you to.
Yeah. Next
All
up.
right, next up for me is Imminence the Black. Look, we love this band. We love this band as humans, and it was so great to get to spend so much time with them over the Good Things run. But honestly, before we even had anything to do with them, I think that this album would have 100% still easily made it into my top 10.
Yeah.
Because they're doing something so cool and so different in metalcore.
Oh,
I think
and they're
that's
flawless.
They're
They're an
flawless.
actual flawless band.
Insane live.
I agree. I had that one there. So, in which case, I'll go next because I did have that one.
Okay.
Next for me was Self Help While She Sleeps. This one for me was unexpected. I was going through it, as Johnny said at the start here, there was so many albums I could have had in the top 10, and it was really hard to narrow down. But this one for me was one that crept in because I went through and actually listened again this past week, being like, oh, give things a play, and was just like, oh my God, that's a banger, that's a banger, that's a banger. And it shows me the progression of that band in terms of finding themselves.
Yeah. Being able to do what they do and what they've always done.
Off their own backs.
Yeah, but still make so many new cool sounds.
Yeah. So yeah, that album for me is so fun. It's something fresh in the heavy music space. So Self-Help While She Sleeps is next on my list.
Third for me, second Aussie band in my top 10 is Alpha Wolf Half Living Things. I think that this was they are just such a fun band. They're a really cool, just bones and blood heavy band. I just love it. It's so much fun. And the funny thing is that previous albums of theirs probably wouldn't have made it in my top 10. So it shows, in my taste, the progression that they've made. I really do enjoy hearing bands take some leaps and try some new things. And the few tracks that they did really step outside what they're known for on the album were absolutely amazing. So well done. And the stuff comes across so well live because they're such a force.
Yeah, if you haven't seen Alpha Wolf before, which is crazy because they toured so much this year, next chance you get, do it. They are a force to be reckoned with. Next up for me, Change of Pace, Sundiver, Boston Manor. This album got replayed so much for me. It's really hard going through Spotify to work out the analytics because Johnny and I get early access to a lot of albums in order to do press stuff. I listen to a lot of things on the outside of Spotify links we get, but this one for me, I knew it was big because it stayed in my, when you open up Chrome, it was the first thing that opened up all the time because I obviously kept going back to it.
Yeah, I listened to it a lot before it came out.
Dude,
and it's so great.
Such an epic album. I feel like it shows all their influences super, super well.
Yep.
And pushes them into this next territory.
Henry's voice is phenomenal.
Oh man, the dude got just all of his range out on this. So...
You want to know a fun fact?
Yes, I do.
The 3 albums that you've mentioned that aren't in my top 10, I've all had them in my honourable mentions.
Great.
Make Them Suffer, Boston Manor, and While She Sleeps were all the honourable mentions for me are ones that, except for the top album, could have quite easily just tipped over.
I like that.
They should be in there.
I like that.
But I don't, yeah. Anyway, the next one for me, third Aussie band out of the 4 is Wind Waker Hyperviolence. I loved this album, and I'm not sure if I talked to you about how much I loved this album.
Confession. I listened to this album twice. This album just came out the wrong time for me. It came out when I was on my honeymoon. And so it just got missed because of the timing of things. And then when we got back, it was just straight to the deep end, and I just missed it. So I gave it 2 plays on the honeymoon, and I never went back to it.
Wow.
And they even, they shared a bunch of stuff every time they post on their Instagram, because they went through and did, a song-by-song breakdown. I was like, I gotta give that a play.
Yeah, I really enjoyed those as well. But, the thing for me with Wind Waker is that, number one, they're all fantastically talented at what they do.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, with me, as we've checked out stuff that's got a real strong pop influence on the channel, it can be it can go one way or the other with me. It can be so hit and miss.
Yeah.
Their pop sensibilities, their choruses in songs like Break the Rules and Sirens are absolutely just 10 out of 10.
Every song we checked out in the
You
singles,
can't
I
get
loved.
any better in a pop sensibility than that. So well done, boys.
Okay. Next up, this is weirdly an album that came out on the exact same day. It's the Crucible of Life, the home team.
So basically what you're saying is fuck you, Wind Waker.
Sorry, boys. This is one that I was waiting for all year.
Yeah.
I showed you the home team. I love that band. I love they're doing this heavy pop thing so well. There's no one else doing it like them. And I think the album is exactly what I was hoping for from them. It's got these incredible pop moments, but they've got the really fun down tune. There's like a playfulness throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
All the
Hooks for
features on
days.
there are awesome. The hooks are there. And they're also really cool dudes, which
They were like so like chilled.
so chill,
You know,
so
like
lovely.
for me, as someone who enjoys to drink, I
What?
yeah, water, stay hydrated. Like a lot of the time I judge and I'm like, oh yeah, I'd love to have a beer with them. They'd be fun to have a few beers with, you know.
Yeah. Or a
But-
coffee. They like coffee.
Well, that band, I'm like, I could just sit down at a park bench with these guys and drink coffee,
Sure.
and it would be super nice.
And cute. Yeah.
It would
So
be
yeah,
cute.
Crucible Life, absolutely fucking love that album. It was so fun.
All right, next one for me is not an Aussie band. This one was introduced to us through our friends at Sharp Tone. 156 Silence.
It was just missed the list for me, but yeah, that would
Yeah.
get an honorable mention.
That album was so good. It was just unexpected. I'd never heard this band before.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my God, this is like crazy, heavy, nostalgic, hardcore noisecore with those emo moments.
Yeah, emo leaning. Yeah.
moments. And I just think it was so good. It's so abrasive and the breakdowns hit so hard. I think this band is one to watch. They're doing really cool things and one of the bands that are flying the flag for that nostalgic early 2000s homage.
Homage. Yeah, I love that album. Next up for me, American Motorsports, Bill Murray. This album
I expected that from you.
this
Yeah.
album got played so much for me. It's a really great album, I feel like, to introduce people. I played it for Chord a bunch. I played it for other people. I bought the vinyl when it came out. I think I told you that. And so that's a vinyl that I find is like an anytime thing I can put on when people are around.
Yeah.
It's still got heaviness. It's got breakdowns, but it's just got this like R&B smoothness to it throughout. It's such a unique genre. I think that John's just created something really unique with this band, and I think this is the most complete work he's done. As Bill
Absolutely.
Murray.
Yeah, it doesn't. There was moments early on in his Bill Murray career that were a little bit disjointed,
Sure.
and it was a little bit choppy changey between songs for me.
Yeah.
But this is 100% super well rounded, and I just love the attitude and his persona. I think that that's such a cool thing with bands is if you can find someone that is not only great at their art, but clearly having fun.
Yeah.
The dude's taking the piss out of himself.
I would
in a lot
like
of stuff.
less toilet humor.
I'm good with the toilet humor.
I know you are.
Yeah, I'm good with cranking that hog, you know, all
I'm
that
on
sort of
Cranking the
stuff.
Hog. Cranking the Hog's quite funny. But yeah, that's just absolutely for me, like one that I've gone back to so many times. So, Bill Murray, American Motorsports.
A relatively early release this year, if I remember. I think it was like March or April. Error.
Didn't make the list for me.
I hate you, but that's okay.
You know what's interesting with that? They were album of the year for me with the previous subtitled. That was one where I really looked at and was like, it's an honorable mention, but it doesn't make the top 10 for me.
Wow.
Because there was too many other strong albums for me this year.
Yeah, I can understand where you're coming from there, but for me, it's a band delivering what I want from them, but still progressing. You know, there was a lot of like more dynamic moments. There was a lot more playing towards the melodic side of things. You know, my favorite track on it was Blue Reverie, and just that whole, you know, Jesse taking the lead for the majority of it, and that really cool Tool-esque moment in there. But JT just always being as just commanding as he is.
Yes.
It was such a strong album, and it's one of those albums where, like, okay, maybe it might not have been the most genre-defining and, you know, 180-degree shift in styles that some bands have with their progression. it was just so well executed. There's just no one that does that style like Era for me.
Agreed. They are very unique in their own space.
Yeah.
Okay, we're up to the final three, and this is where it got really hard for me to pick the number one.
We're actually up to the final four for me because we had one the same.
Oh.
Because we had,
I've got three left.
yeah. Well, do you want me to do my next one then?
No, we got four left. We got four left.
Okay.
I've missed one. I don't know how I
okay.
missed that. Yeah, okay, the next one for me is, again, this is also one that could be up there. The Nothing That Is. Fit for an Autopsy.
Yeah.
This album, for me, anyone's been following the channel for a long time knows that like deathcore, it was a genre that I wasn't down with when we started.
Yeah.
And this is the band that has changed that for me. More than your Lorna Shores, more than a bunch of other bands we've checked out that have these shock moments, this is a band that is just so consistently incredible. I feel like they've got such scope, and this album is a flawless front to back progression on deathcore, on what they're doing. I feel like musically it's so driving and powerful.
Yeah.
But Joe is a force to be reckoned with. His range
Yeah.
and his ability
He's
to
incredible.
emote through that, and his, as we've talked about, the enunciation and the intelligibility of the lyrics that's what gets me.
Yeah. And the fact that, you know, the band is allowing Joe to showcase a lot more of what he can do. You know, we've spoken to him numerous times, and, you know, getting to hear his influences from when he grew up, and, you know, what made him want to sing, etc., and what he used to jam to. Being able to hear a little bit more of that come out has been really cool. I think they're also, in terms of deathcore, they're the most consistently diverse deathcore band.
100%. There's progression album. Yeah, agreed. Yes.
All right, the next one for me is the lads from the UK, Trash Boat.
Sorry, Trash Boat.
I thought that this album was absolutely fucking sick. This is a band that have gone through various iterations, a lot of genre bending, a lot of like playing with other styles, and I think that they did it super well on this one. It was super cohesive. The heavier moments were just the best they've done. You know, like it was the best that they've done it. Toby's voice is incredible. I don't think that he gets enough praise for his range as a vocalist, because
I don't think they get praised enough as a band.
yeah, that's
They're an
absolutely
underrated
true.
band.
Yeah, they really are, and they had some cool features on it, like Eric from I Prevail. Who was the other day? The dude from Crossfaith. And yeah, it was just a solid album. Some really cool little like indie and Deftonesy moments in there, which I didn't expect.
Sure.
But yeah, great album. Definitely check it out if you haven't given Trash Boat a chance, because they are severely underrated.
Now we're up to the final three. And this is where, for me, any one of these could have taken number one spot. So I'm going to go with Start of the Base, Stigma, Wage War.
Ooh.
Fucking loved this
okay.
album. This one I said before about getting played a bunch before we had the link. The boys sent me this one quite early just to like let me know, get my feedback on it.
Yeah.
And I played it so much. It was like my training album of the year. So many cool moments, and them just leaning into being the best heavy rock band they can.
Yeah. Man,
Regardless of the fans or the haters. And I fucking love that.
I agree. This was an honourable mention for me, because not only are they just a great band and great dudes, but you're right. They're leaning into their strength and not really worrying about what people say. Also, this was a great album for me in terms of like my kids. I judge a lot of music on the connection that I get through it with my kids, and my daughter fucking loved that album. She wanted to listen to Hellbent over and over and over and over, and you know, hearing her sing along to the call out at the start of Tombstone and stuff like that is just sick, man. Like, and you know, it's not like there's no theatrics to that band. It's not a band I've pushed on my kids at all. She's just like heard it and she's gone, this is catchy as fuck. I like this. I want to listen to that. And yeah, I think I've said this on the channel before. I've always taken my kids' opinion on music like real serious, because I feel like kids don't go into listening to anything or watching anything with any preconceived notion.
Yeah, there's no pretension.
It's just what's there. How does it make me feel?
Yep. Don't do that one.
Okay.
Because we'll talk about that one next. Otherwise, you'll have three and I'll have one.
Okay. All right, so my next one then, and I forgot to write the name of the album, and I'm horrible with names, is Darkest Hour, Perpetual Terminal.
I didn't listen to this album.
You fucked up.
Cool. But that's the point of this. That's the whole point of this. To check out stuff that maybe you missed this year, because this is stuff that influenced us. So
Yeah, look, Darkest Hour, I am a metalhead from way back. There is nothing that... well, it's not that there's nothing that... but, like, when I hear a really solid heavy metal album that is just full of riffs and fast beats, it's got thrashy moments and pulled back moments and halftime moments, I'm just like, oh, God, this reminds me of everything that made me fall in love with heavy music. And Darkest Hour were a band that I was shown by friends when I was in a metal band years ago. And I was just like, this is fucking amazing. These riffs, like the riff architecture here is just incredible.
Cool.
It's so well done. It's the perfect mix of them doing the heaviest stuff and then leading into that melodic element as well, like on tracks like Into the Void and things like that, which we checked out. I think it's fantastic. They've been going for ages. Check them out if you want if you want to go to Riff City. Check out Darkest Hour.
all right, this next one, Johnny and I both share. This one was such a strong contender for album of the year.
It was
soon as
so
I heard
close.
it.
This was the one that was like very, very close.
This is tied for me. So this is I'm giving 2 at the front. I am finishing with the one, but this is like it. I love this one just as much. Analysis Paralysis, 4 Years Strong. This is the best album that 4 Years Strong's ever done. This is a band that connects me and Johnny from like early on. You speak about your kids. This song reminds me of your son, not before he was born, going and watching them while he was in the womb.
Yeah, true. And
It's a band that just like has been so consistent forever, but they've just stepped up.
yeah, for sure. And they're a band that like, I think that they kind of hit a bit of a speed bump or a pothole in their career when they decided to move away from the more metalcore side of their stuff in terms of riffs on that in any way, shape, or form. But they've found a way to keep those elements of being a really good rock band and progress further. And they have it's a really slow trajectory for them, which is a shame, but it's a good thing because I hope they keep continuing to drop albums because this shows that they're a band that can do absolutely anything.
Actually, so
Two
well.
incredible vocalists that work super well together, both guitarists, and they absolutely play so well together.
Yeah.
The intricacy in their guitar work is often overlooked. And dropping a song like Daddy of Mine, which is just like the biggest we like Every Time I Die. I was just like, and they fucking crushed it.
Yeah,
They fucking crushed
did it so well.
I just wanted to start breaking shit.
There was so much on there that was like uncooked, as we said, like huge like elements of, and we mentioned this of like all the influences you can hear, but it's because they're so diverse. It's not necessarily they're trying to be another band. It's just they're so good at everything. You can hear other bands in it.
For sure.
Yeah.
Music
Analysis
videos were
Paralysis
great as well.
is incredible, and they're so
music
fun.
videos were so much fun. All right, do you want to give me your top for the year, or do you want me to go?
You go because I said this one to start there. That's fair.
All right. My top album for the year was where's the? I've fucked this up because I've not written the actual album name.
Highly Irresponsible. I got you.
Highly Irresponsible by Better Lovers. If you've been watching this channel for any period of time, you will know that my favourite bands of all time are Thrice and Every Time I Die. Another one of my top bands of all time were the Dillinger Escape Plan. Now, Every Time I Die and Dillinger Escape Plan left us, and from the ashes came Better Lovers, a supergroup of sorts, I guess you could call it, with the vocalist of Dillinger, 3 of the members of Every Time I Die, and Mr. Will Putney on guitar as well, which is a great addition because his production is fantastic and his songwriting and guitar playing is fantastic. This is everything that I could have hoped for out of the ashes of those bands.
Agreed.
And it pains me to say that Many Eyes, having Keith Buckley, the ETID singer, didn't even make it in my honourable mentions. I thought it was good, but it wasn't close to my top albums.
Yeah, the singles were the best bit about that album for me.
Yeah. This, however, was something where you heard the singles, you heard the EP, and it was great. And then this album, they crushed it. And there was so many cool things on there that just, it sounds like Better Lovers, but, you can't avoid the fact that there's a lot of those nods to their previous projects.
Yeah.
But they do it so well and they do it so tastefully. And Greg's voice just works so well with everything that they write. It is
Agreed.
such a fun, intense album. It's got sick breakdowns, sick time signature stuff if you're into that. Like the noisecore stuff is great. Melodic moments like the rock song At All Times. Just a fantastic album. I'm so happy with that album. Congratulations, Better Lovers. You get my album of the year.
As you said as well, the fact that they brought out an EP and then so quickly followed up with a flawless album.
Yeah.
Because I liked the EP and I loved the album.
Yeah.
So that's a really cool. Like you don't have that happen from a band that might be like seen as a supergroup. And like the fact that Putney released Fit for an Autopsy, his other band, on the same day as well.
Yeah,
Two fucking incredible albums.
That's wild.
Yeah, Will Putney wins this year. Album of the year for me, and this is probably no surprise. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of you out there that agree with me. You Won't Go Before You're Supposed to. Knocked Loose. This is a surprise one because Knocked Loose is a band that Johnny and I both didn't get around to start with. There was something there that didn't click for me. This album, it clicked in a hard way. It is such an aggressive, relentless, in-your-face album, but it is progressive. It showcases elements of the band that we haven't seen before. It showcases elements of Brian's vocals that we hadn't seen before.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why it's like one of my honourable mentions, is because I was the same. But this album, and just watching their meteoric rise, especially doing things like Jimmy Kimmel, and God, I love all the people that were
what they're doing for the scene
that.
is so good. Like there's bands out there that have been going for a long time that have been doing good things, but to have a band that's just like popped off outside of the metal space is incredible. And I think it's so cool to see it come from a band that's so aggressive and so harsh.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. It's why I give massive props to Parkway Drive, who did it on their own, so heavy for so long.
Yeah.
And became a band that were massive. They were a household name. And then they started doing the more, melodic stuff. But this is a band that's just, they're the heaviest of the heavy. They are a fucking brutal band.
Yeah. This album has no skips for me. It's incredible. I won't go through top songs because we'll get to that eventually. Let's go through EPs next.
Do you want to give me any other honourable mentions that you did?
I didn't honourable mention albums. So we did that differently because it's just honourable mention wasn't like, the album that honourable mentions. Mine's just like, a thing I wanted to mention this year.
All right.
So I didn't go through and do albums as honourable mentions.
All right.
I have just one honourable mention because I didn't want to make it into the 50-minute video.
Yeah. All right.
So.
Well, I had Bring Me the Horizon in mind.
Oh, fuck, I'll tell the
That was
story
your
now.
your top album of the year.
It was my album of the year. I said this on a video recently, but if you missed it. So when Spotify Wrapped came out this year, it showed me that I fucked up. I have my Spotify connected to my gym, which is where we actually record this. And I went home on a Thursday night after listening to the album after training, and I forgot to turn off Spotify, and it played through Bring Me's album for 3 days straight.
That's his excuse anyway. He's just a super fan.
It didn't make my
he's
top
an
10
Ollie
albums.
Simp. You're an Ollie Simp, huh? Yeah, it didn't. Did it get an honourable mention?
It didn't even get an honourable mention. I will say
Is that just out of like...
No,
just
no. So we'll get to it, but they get a top song for me.
Me too.
The album I really liked, but it wasn't in my top 10. It wasn't in my top 15 albums.
Yeah.
I just fucked up.
Yeah, look, there was just so many like that could have come close for me. You know what I mean? Like even like Marilyn Manson's new album. I didn't expect that. It was a surprise.
I didn't listen to it.
I didn't expect it to actually be good.
Is that surprise of the year for you?
No, it's not actually.
Okay.
I don't
Anyway,
think I have
top
a surprise of the
EPs.
year.
Well, you haven't done this properly. Top EPs. Are you going to go through with a number one? Or are you going to do 5?
I'm going to do all 5
Okay, go for it.
because
So
it's pretty
5.
easy.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
I want to see how many of this we got in the
The
comments.
Plot and You, volumes 1, 2, and 3.
Nope. Didn't get either of them.
Really?
No.
That's great. Like, I mean, look, if they'd put that together as a 9 or 10 track album, it would have made it my top album.
That's exactly it.
So good.
Because they're released single by single, and I'm not someone that goes back and be like, and now I'm going to put that as an EP.
Ah, right.
I missed it.
Okay.
I listened to every song. They're all on playlists. I loved everything they released. It's not an EP.
It's so good. It's so good. Like, if they had released all of those as an album, it could be their best album.
Sure.
Pardon me. And then I also had Counterparts, Haven't Let Them Die. I think that was great.
Agreed.
It was just so heavy and aggressive.
And surprising.
Yeah, out of nowhere.
Yep.
Maybe that's my surprise of the year. And then my final one was House of Protection Galore.
That's 3. We've got 5 to put through.
No.
Yes,
the
we
plot
do.
is 1, 2, 3.
Oh,
There
you're
was
putting
3
1, 2, and
EPs.
3 in there?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Fuck yeah.
Sure. Okay, great.
Yeah.
I also have Galore House of Protection. So I've got another 3 in there. I have Mirror's Edge, North Lane.
That that was very, very close. If Counterparts hadn't dropped theirs,
Sure.
North Lane was in.
You plot stole everyone's.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mirror's Edge for me was just like
job, Landon.
a really fun. I love all the features in there. I feel like
Yeah.
they got to play with like their heroes. They got some nostalgia, bringing Brennan back.
Yeah.
I think it was a really fun EP.
It's
Tempest,
just so good.
Driveways. They released that
okay, yeah.
pretty recently. Again, we didn't feature any Driveways this year on video clips because they didn't do any video clips.
Yeah, guys, come on, man. Like, what? You want to be like...
Our lover, you got to get with our friends.
Yeah.
Driveways from band, they're a consistent band. They were in my top 5 artists of the year on Spotify, which is crazy considering Bring the Horizon took so much. This Tempest is an incredible EP. You should check that out. And the last one I have is one that I never talked about. I've never showed you. It's an artist from the UK called Fieves, Fieves. The EP is called Between Hello and Goodbye.
That artist has been on tour with Bring Me, right?
No. It is...
They've been on tour with someone because I've seen the name.
Well, this is... I guarantee you may be confused on this one. It's like garage hip-hop rap. Like UK garage. So it's like house beats, but with rap over the top of it.
Okay.
I think I'm going to put snippets of every song or album we put on this video. So you'll have to watch and hear what it sounds like because I don't want to take up time now doing it. But
Yeah, I could just check it out so I don't have to only just judge it off 3
100%.
seconds.
It's very left of field, but I know there's a lot of you out there that like not just heavy stuff. It is an artist that I thought was too left of field to check out on the channel necessarily. But this EP is probably my EP of the year. I've listened to it so many times. It's, you know what you would have seen? I put it on my Instagram on stories and posts and stuff, a bunch of behind things. Incredible, really interesting dynamic. I don't know how I found it. I don't know where it came to me, but it's been played so many times. Kind of has like the streets sort of vibes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That sort of vibe. Yeah.
Does it sound very UK? Like,
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you will like it. It's just not something I would have shown on.
Is it
here.
grimy? Like, sort of gritty?
No, it's quite
Okay.
clean.
Okay.
Really cool flow. They have a lot of like, it's like a rapper and a producer, DJ, and they have other rappers on the EP. And this is like 5 songs, and they're all really good.
Cool.
Top songs.
Top songs. All right.
I wonder if
So,
we're going to have any in common here.
really, I'm going to go from, like, I'm going to do my 4, and then
Yeah.
I'm going to do my song of the year.
Yeah.
Let's start with number 5, Bring Me the Horizon, Amen, featuring, it was Lil Uzi Vert, wasn't it? And Daryl Palumbo.
Yep.
This one for me was Bring Me the Horizon sounding fantastic, touching on that early 2000s screamo, sort of emo-core style. I thought that Lil Uzi Vert's part was really cool and fit the song really well, given the style of it. But the kicker for me being Daryl Palumbo of Glassjaw, being Daryl Palumbo of Glassjaw. There
He
was
does
that
it so well.
aggression. Yeah, it just is like, that's the guy I remember, and that's the guy I love. But it was a great song. I really enjoyed it. Sick chorus. I loved the way that Ollie and Daryl played with each other's like call and response at the end of the song as well.
Yeah.
Great song. Number 4, Bleed From Within, Hands of Sin. Now, if what's the recent one you checked out? The Halo one?
Yeah.
In place of your Halo?
Yeah.
If that had dropped earlier, that probably would have beaten this simply because of the bagpipe breakdown. But Bleed From Within, get it with that track because look, this band is just, they're the top metal band in the world as far as I'm concerned. They're absolutely fantastic. Unpeople, The Garden.
Such a fun track.
Such a fun band. Thank you again, Sharp Tone, for putting us onto these guys. They're absolutely incredible. Really cool mix of genres. Check them out if you haven't. I won't even try and describe what they sound like.
Just incredible rock and roll.
The Beatles meets
The Hives.
The Darkness meets The Hives meets Code Orange.
Yeah.
Like,
fun.
there's some real heaviness in there. Avoid Burn gets my second last song. This band is so sick, and I just feel like they're just so fucking underrated.
Yeah, we like Avoid a lot.
They're great. Anyway, my track of the year goes to...
Hold it. I have the same one as you, I just saw. So we'll get to that when we get to
Okay,
it. Yeah.
okay, do your 4.
So I've got Bring Me the Horizon in there, but mine is not that. I have
it
top 10 statues.
With Under Oath?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that track. Also, very controversial reaction. You and I had differing opinions on that, and people agreed with you way more than me. I don't care. I stand by it. Yeah, that one for me.
It's alright, you can be wrong sometimes.
Letterman, The Story So Far. This album was also an honorable mention
I'm
for me.
very surprised that didn't get into your top albums because
I love them.
you love them, and it was Story So Far being new Story So Far, but also being old Story
It's
So
an honorable mention for me.
Far. Okay.
Yeah, I love it. I really do love it. But there was others that this year was such a good year for music. But Letterman for me was played so much. Great song. Next one, Invisible Rain, Stick to Your Guns. This is just off like a
Great song.
Tool thing. Dude, now
Great
is the
song.
time of Monsters. It was so close to being my breakdown of the year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So good. I fucking love.
That's another band that I feel like because they're not in the like deep in the metalcore scene, their breakdowns don't get enough love because they're always fucking crushing.
Just wait for Keep Playing Flowers. Next year's album from Stick to Your Guns, I guarantee it's gonna get. I can almost guarantee it's gonna be in our top 10 albums.
Also being on
From what
Sharp
we've
Tone
heard so
now,
far.
I feel like they're gonna get that.
Shout
the
out. You know
push.
what? Sharp Tone get record label of the year for me.
Yeah.
They've been consistently incredible, not only for us to deal with, but also just like their artists they're selecting. So good.
Yeah, 100%. Well done, Sharp Tone.
Next one, Ache by Thieves, that artist I just told you about. So this was a song that released relatively recently, not on that EP I told you about. It's a standalone, but it reconfirmed me like, oh, this is an artist to watch. They're so cool. This track just makes me feel things. And our number one, Together, is a recent release.
3, 2, 1.
Johnny's an idiot. Oh, fuck, sorry.
Band name first. 3, 2, 1.
Buried
Tomorrow. What If I Burn? What a fucking track.
Yeah.
All of the feels. All of the feels.
It still gives me goosebumps every time I hear it.
It's beautiful.
It's stunning and
It's
heavy and crushing and incredible. Yeah.
It is just, it just, as soon as I heard it, the hairs stood up on my body.
All four of them.
What? All 4 hairs? I'm not a very hairy guy.
Slick, baby.
Sleep. See me covered in oil. Yeah, look, the hairs stood on end. I had goosebumps. Even now when I hear those choruses, when I hear Dan do his like the emotive lead-in screams that he does, and then hear him do some cleans, Tom's voice is amazing. The guitar work is incredible. I also want to give a shout out to Ed.
Go on.
Because when I posted about this track, he actually messaged me and was like, "I'm so glad that you guys like loved this as much as he did because it was one of my songs, and you know it was a little bit different.
Yeah.
You know, it was a little bit different." And I'm like, I wish I'd fucking known that before we did the reaction, and I would have given you more props. But yeah, like we absolutely love those guys as well. They are all 10 out of 10 human beings. So to hear them pushing themselves like this and get the recognition for stepping outside their comfort zone just a little bit, and the fans eating it up and just going, this fucking got me right there.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So good. Yeah. All right. Honorable mentions. You already done your honorable mentions, but honorable mentions for me is a track, and it's one that didn't make in my top songs, but it could have, and then it also could have come into breakdown of the year. It was Tombstone, Wage War. Just the end of that, and again, the boys played it for me when they were out here for Knotfest right at the start of the year, and so I heard it so long ago, and I can still put it on it every time it gets me.
Oh, yeah.
You tell him I'm coming, and hell's coming with me.
The riff that follows is
the
just
metal
so
riff.
Good.
Oh,
so good. Like that whole album, the little fucking nods to Slayer and traditional metal.
So good.
That real evil like minor chord.
That's exactly it.
It
has an evilness to it.
Yeah, fully. Yeah, look, there's so many other bands and stuff we could mention. I want to give a shout out as well to Australian bands. Because I had a lot of honourable mentions like Stand Atlantic and Ocean Grove and stuff like that that really just released Red Hawk, that released such great albums. Yours Truly was another one that was a great album. Australian music is absolutely killing it, and it makes me so proud that our tiny little album can produce so much music.
I think you meant to say country album.
Tiny little island.
You said album.
Did I?
Yeah. Island also, well, it's a giant island. It's the biggest island in the world.
Yeah.
Our tiny little country of people. But yeah, I'm with you.
Can get so much love and adoration from around the world that gets all of these bands from the furthest place in the world over to the States and the UK so frequently. I think it's such a cool thing.
Agreed. I didn't put that many Australian bands in there, and I think it's because I didn't want to come across like I was playing bias of being like, I'm Aussie and they're Aussie, so I love them. But yeah, you're absolutely right. There's something in the water here because the bands are bringing out
The Thornhill track could have been, that's honourable mention in terms
Nerve.
of tracks. Yeah, that latest one, that could have been in my top songs. That's
Yeah.
such a brilliant song.
Banger. Breakdown of the year.
Look, it's going to obviously be the obvious answer.
Is it?
Knock Loose and Poppy.
No, not for me.
You didn't get that one. That is
I have Knock
fantastic.
Loose, but
And
not
that's
Poppy.
one that like was just like, oh, this is a band that will continue to push themselves and stuff. But because it's been so popular, I put a couple others that were very close to getting in.
Okay.
And it was Product Placement 156 Silence. That
Yep.
was a great noisy breakdown. Wage War Tombstone. And the breakdown in Slow Sour Bleed by Error.
Great.
Such a good breakdown. Fun.
So good.
Yeah.
Mine was not the Poppy Suffocate, although that reggaeton beat that comes
It's
in
so
is
great.
fucking
It's so
fun.
cool.
It's Blinding Faith.
Yeah. That is filth.
Dude, bend the knee, and then it's
Yeah.
just the guttural pig squeal after it.
Yeah.
Also, I can straight up visualize the film clip every time I hear that moment.
True.
That was a
true,
really
true,
striking
true.
video. I just think Blinding Faith, I think, is my favorite song on that album.
Yeah.
And that hits every single time. So good. So,
All right. Live show of the year.
Parkway, right?
It has to be Parkway.
Yeah. For those of you
It
that
has to be Parkway.
are not Australian and didn't get to see their 20-year tour was the best show I've ever seen.
The production was insane. Now, alongside Parkway Drive, I also have Kiss, because getting to take Alaska to see them for the final time ever in a giant stadium,
Yep.
see that giant show, was a great sort of family moment, because it was me, Amy, and the kids.
Yep.
It was a great family moment. But I also had that with Parkway Drive because Amy and I took Dustin along, and they're his favourite band, and it was just such... Seeing both of those shows this year and the spectacle that Parkway Drive have created, which is very fucking close to Kiss. And
Yeah.
like Winston said, there's more direction and there's more focus and intent in where they use their production. Not just like, we're a huge band with lots of money, here's lots of
Fire.
explosions.
Here's heaps of fire, but
Yeah.
to make sense of the story.
Exactly, and
Yep.
it was great. But I have another one that I had to put in here, which is completely left of field because it's not music.
I don't want to know about it then. Go on.
Fuck you. You're a bad friend. And in saying that, I'm a huge fan of comedy and comedy podcasts. Comedians I listen to as many comedians as I do musicians. And Amy and I went to see the Bad Friends podcast, Andrew Santino and Bobby Lee, and it was the hardest I've ever laughed in my life. It was so good to sit there with my girlfriend and just laugh. Just laugh for an hour and a half straight at the most outlandish shit I've ever seen and heard. And the thing I love about comedy and the thing I love about comedy shows is that on the internet, things can go viral and people can get very, very upset by them. When you're in that room and people are doing and saying these outlandish things, everyone in there knows that it's just here to make you laugh. That's
Yeah.
it. We're all here for the same reason. There's no judgment, there's no nothing. And being in a theatre full of people that are just all there enjoying stupidity is...
It's like you guys with us.
Yeah, it's fucking great. And
Yeah.
if you've never been to a comedy show, I strongly urge you to go and check one out. That's one of my resolutions for next year, is to go to more comedy.
Oh, I've got one I'm buying tickets for tomorrow. I'll send it to you after.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
The other show, I only put two in here in my list, and the other one that was close to that one was Bring the Horizon. You didn't go to...
Yeah, I missed that.
Yeah.
Bummed.
I went to both shows in Sydney with my dudes in Sleep Token. Obviously, getting to see Sleep Token and just see the level they've grown to each year is so, so cool. Make them suffer on support. But
Yeah.
also, Bring Me show was phenomenal. The production was incredible. The storyline, what they've done with their music and their story was so, so rad. And again, I got to watch it 2 nights in a row. So I got to watch it from front of house with the Sleep Token crew. And then I watched it in the crowd with Court the next night. And both times was as good. So it wasn't like I got a privileged experience, which I did. I'm aware of that. But I got to watch it from like a straight up fan perspective. And then also from like the prime position where you sound and see everything. And they were both so good.
That's a good point, actually. I think that's one of the things that I enjoyed about the Parkway shows. Like, we are very, very lucky. Thank you to... It's mostly Janine and Destroy All Lines that hook us up with these tickets and passes, and the bands who actually
Let us in
allow
their
us to
space.
have AAA passes to get into their space is such a cool experience. But I think the thing for me with Parkway was sitting there in the crowd, and I had the pass. I could have gone down and said hi and all that sort of stuff, but I was just like, I'm just here to enjoy this with my kid and my girl.
Yeah.
And it was great. And it's good to not have that, watch a show not from a position of privilege as well.
Agreed.
I think just to enjoy it,
Yeah,
and take it all
100%.
in.
Yeah. Surprise of the year.
Surprise of the year. Well, other than the Counterparts EP and other than me not being able to think of a surprise of the year, I think I'm just going to say Poppy on this one. Ah,
Poppy's my surprise of the year too.
I just think that like from everything that we knew of Poppy, and yes, Poppy fans, we know that she was heavy before and all that.
We checked her out a few times before. We're not like just jump on the bandwagon. Fuck off.
I just think that it was a surprise how explosively she came out and just took over and was everywhere.
That's my surprise.
Everywhere.
The acceptance, and I fucking love to see it. We've talked about it before. There is so much great female representation in the heavy space, but it's just new person coming in. Like all these incredible females coming and taking the space.
Oh, dude,
And
100%.
she's doing such cool things with all the collaborations she did this year.
Yeah.
But also her own stuff was as strong as any of it.
Fantastic. Also, shout out to Jordan Fish and Stevis from House Protection, who did a lot of the producing and writing on that album. It was a great album. Also, could have been very close to my top albums. I also. Now, I mentioned before about the people in the comments section on the Jimmy Kimmel post about, there was a bit of like fluff just floating. Yeah. Did you see at all the comments on the Facebook when they posted about that? Just people just whining and complaining.
I saw
And
Brian's response to it.
it does still show me that there are so many people that just do not get it and do not understand. And it angers me and annoys me that people can just be so blanket. Oh, this is horrible. It's just screaming like this is Satan's music. One woman wrote something like, it made my kids scared and upset, so I had to turn it off.
That was a troll.
Okay.
That wasn't a real
I
comment.
hope so.
Yeah.
But my point being that it annoys me and angers me, but that there's not that acceptance and that even willingness to understand. But it also makes me happy that we have such a cool community of people that love this music and artists creating this music, and we all stick together and we're all here for the same reason. Because
Did you see Brian's response?
I did not.
It was a big thing. We wrote about it, and at the end he's like, "And if it scared you, good." And I was like, "That's sick."
But also, going back to Poppy, I think that it's such a cool thing to have such a mainstream media thing like Jimmy Kimmel and have this young, attractive female who has a beautiful voice, but up there just absolutely tearing fucking balls in front of all these people that are just like, what in the shit? What's going on here?
Yeah.
It's just such a fuck you to normies.
Agreed.
I love that.
All right, Discovery of the Year.
Discovery of the Year was Unpeople for me.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're so fun. It's so cool. We check out so much music on this channel. It's cool to hear a band that just blends genres and styles and does it so seamlessly and creates something cool and new. Highly recommend checking them out if you haven't. They're just a lot of fun.
Mine was Thieves, the artist I've told you about a few times.
Cool.
I only discovered it earlier in the year, and it's been on hard rotation. So, yeah, definitely recommend checking that out. Disappointment of the year, for me, No Self-41.
Yeah, that was mine.
I was really thinking about this one and being like, what disappointed me this year? And that's the most recent, 'cause it happened a week ago, but I was really looking forward to seeing Sum 41 play at Good Things Festival, and having Derek come down with pneumonia as he hit the country was very disappointing. Fully understand, and there was a bit of a positive that we saw our boys in Electric Callboy get to step up and really own their spot. So it was like a silver lining, but I would love
seeing
to see
Frank perform those songs with them and what he went through to do that.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool. That was my disappointment of the year. Not disappointing in the sense, like you said, that it's their fault. Just disappointing because it would have been such a good send-off for them.
Yep.
And a deserved one because they've had an incredible career. Their album as well could have quite easily made it in my top 10. Like, it's double album, so I felt like they were kind of cheating. But anyway.
Trying to take all those spots.
I have another couple of disappointments that were kind of close to that.
Great.
And it was Void Division and the Ghost Inside missing out on those couple of Parkway
That was my other one.
shows.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's more because I kind of feel bad for them, especially a band like Void Division. Would it have changed their decision? Probably not. After speaking with Jack, probably not. But it would have been cool to also see the Ghost Inside at that show because Parkway is Dustin's favourite band, but Ghost Inside is the first band he ever saw live.
That would have been fun, full circle.
Yeah, and then the other one, Void Division splitting up. It's just one of those disappointments. Like not disappointing, but a little bit bittersweet releasing such a great album
And just continuing to improve, go on.
Yeah, but watch this space. James is a workhorse. He'll be back doing stuff. And, Jack, best of luck to him. Has his reasons. He's got a lot of life stuff coming up. And, yeah, we'll see him around again.
What are you excited for in 2025, Johnny? That's the last question.
Do you want to go first?
Sure, yeah. Era and Silent Planet coming out. They're doing an Aussie tour. First, the proper headline run that Era has done. Era boys. We love them so much, just as humans. Really excited for them to be coming out and bringing Silent Planet with them. Cool because it's two bands that have had album of the year for me in the past.
Yeah.
Super Bloom and Era were.
Oh, that new Silent Planet song could have been in the songs.
Yeah, it came out a week ago.
Oh, God, it's so fucking good.
But still, so excited for that. Also, they're playing very locally for us, which doesn't happen. We live like an hour and a half north of most shows that happen in Sydney.
So we could kidnap them and take them to our houses and...
JT's already been like, I'm coming to see Luna.
Yeah, of course he is. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm so excited to have those guys out here and spend a bit of time with them because...
Yeah, we always love hanging out with them. That's one of the things that I've got to look forward to is there is so many of our friends coming back to the country and it's always good to catch up with them and get to spend some time. Like, we're in a pretty cool position where these bands actually enjoy spending time with us as well, which is weird.
They pretend to.
Yeah.
They put
we'll
up
take
with us.
it. We'll take it.
I can also say, if you're in Australia, my goodness, you're in for a very exciting year. We're also very lucky to kind of have a bit of a heads up on what's happening. And, boy, there's some fun happening in 2025.
Yeah, I've got gigs next year are going to be great. Like Not Fest is going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to Loathe hopefully releasing some new music. Hopefully, No Pressure Boys. But the thing I'm looking forward to the most is life stuff. Like I'm excited to see where the channel goes because we do have big plans. But I'm starting the year in Scotland. Where
is starting?
Scotland. I'm starting the year in Scotland.
Great.
Yeah.
That's going to be a great way to start.
My boy's starting high school next year, which is a cool thing. Like me and the missus are going to buy a house and got lots of cool life stuff and fun things that we've got planned personally. So, I mean, if you're interested in any of that sort of shit, you can follow me on my socials. Same with Nath and keep up with our life stuff.
I don't post much of my life stuff. It's all work on social media.
Me either. I don't. Yeah, I get over social media. I find it really hard to get motivated to post on there because I'm just like, who wants to see this? No one needs to see this.
So many people want to see it.
Yeah.
So many people want to see it.
Yeah. If you do, follow me on my Instagram and stuff like that.
Because you won't post, but you can follow me anyway.
Yeah. And looking forward to potentially making the channel more of a job.
Yeah. That is, we've been pretty lucky, as we said at the start of the video. And I know there's been a very long video. Fuck, it's gone as long as I said I didn't want it to. I said at the start here that I was like, this is becoming something that we put a lot of effort into to make it not just a reaction channel. We spent a lot of time creating like really, hopefully engaging interviews and content and fun stuff. We get to go to a lot of live shows, which is really fun, but we want to continue to grow and progress this and turn it into music press that gives you something to go and find your artists that you love and also discover some new ones. And the more it grows, the more chance we have for Johnny to step away from his work and put a bit more time and effort into this. Yeah, look, the way that I always describe it is we enjoy being the conduit between artists and fans. We're happy to be those middlemen for you. We want to bring you a little bit of a peek into the lives of these bands and other thoughts and things that, and opinions that they've got on stuff. So yeah, if you like that stuff, please, I do urge you to go and check out the interviews. I am not trying to sound... like I'm trying to stay humble with it, but I honestly... I'm fucking great.
But no, I'm genuinely proud of our interview style and what we've done in that space because we did no research for this. We've got no experience.
Still do no research for this.
100%. We've got no experience other than what we've seen other people do in the past on MTV, Channel V, all that sort of stuff. But we genuinely enjoy it. We enjoy talking to artists that we love and respect, and we enjoy being able to pick their brains and just have fun with them.
Yeah,
which is cool.
Agreed.
Hey, before we end this, because we do a lot of reactions on this channel, can you think off the top of your head, was there a music video that would get the top for you?
I thought about that today. No, the problem is we do so much. Yeah. My mind is a sieve, and it's all gone except what you've done this last week.
I would say that mine, for a few reasons, was a work of art, Ice Nine Kills, simply because they had the dude in the music video.
Yeah.
It's such big production,
Yeah.
and it made a lot of people upset, and I like that about them.
That was a fun music video. Yeah, I can't comment. I don't remember
A
anything.
movie of the year? No, hard one.
Dude, my mind is full of so much stuff. I had to like sit down and
Yeah.
research in order to do this properly to go through things because, like I said, we consume so much.
Yeah,
To
it's
give this like a proper breakdown for you guys and talk through it, I really like sat down for a couple of hours and did this.
this is not an easy thing to do. I was racking my brain because
Well, yeah, it's also not what this isn't our job. If this was what you did as your full time job, great, it might be a bit easier, but it's not. This is a side thing. So
And on that, we would love to continue. Like we said, we'd love to turn this into a job, and we would love to bring you things. We know we've had people sort of ask our opinions on music news things and all that sort of stuff and things happening. And we would love to have a podcast or more content that, is based around music news and things like that. We'd love to promote more tours. So, hey, sponsors, anyone want to jump on board, let us know. Even though you would definitely not have been watching an hour into this.
yeah, neither am I. Thanks for being here. We'll see you guys next year.
Thanks for hanging. Have a great Christmas and New Year's.